All right, so get this. Elon Musk, the guy who said AI was like summoning demons, well, he just dropped $1 billion on Nvidia. $1 billion. It really makes you wonder what he's got going on over at xAI, right? That's what we're diving into today, this mega deal and what it means for Musk's AI plans, but also for the future of AI in general. We're looking at a Motley Fool article here called Elon Musk just gave Nvidia investors 1 billion reasons to cheer.
Yeah, it's like we found a treasure map, except the treasure is all these cutting-edge GPUs, and the map is this Motley Fool article.
Okay, so you're saying we need to decode this whole thing.
Exactly. The article says that xAI, Musk's startup, is going to be buying over $1 billion worth of Nvidia's GB200 GPUs. Now, this might just sound like any other tech deal, but when you think about Musk's past statements on AI, like when he called for that pause on AI development and the whole, summoning demons thing, well, this deal starts to look a lot more interesting.
Yeah, it's like he's saying AI is dangerous, but also, here's $1 billion, make me some more of it. So for those of us who haven't built a supercomputer recently, can you remind me, what exactly are GPUs, and why are they so important to AI?
GPUs are kind of like the rocket fuel for AI. They're specifically designed for these super intense calculations that machine learning algorithms need. Think of it like this. Training an AI is like teaching it to find patterns in massive amounts of data. A normal CPU, your computer's main processor, is like trying to move all that data one tiny piece at a time. But a GPU is like bringing in a whole fleet of bulldozers.
So basically, the better the GPU, the faster your AI learns to do all the cool stuff. And Nvidia has like the biggest pile of bulldozers around, right?
Yeah, right now they're totally in control. They have something like 88% of the entire GPU market.
Yeah.
Everyone's using their chips. Microsoft, Amazon, Google, even Musk's own company, Tesla, relies on them. Which makes this deal even weirder. Musk is getting even closer to a company he already depends on.
And it's not like a one-time thing either. Remember that post Musk made about xAI's Colossus supercomputer, the one running on Nvidia's H100 GPUs? This new deal could be the next step in their AI partnership. But hold on a second. $1 billion for GPUs. That's nothing compared to what some analysts are predicting, right?
Oh, yeah. Dan Ives, an analyst at Wedbush Securities, he thinks that we could see over $1 trillion, with a T, poured into AI infrastructure in the next 3 years. That's like the entire GDP of some countries. And Nvidia, with their market dominance, they're in a perfect spot to grab a huge piece of that.
But it can't be all sunshine and roses for Nvidia, can it? Even with the treasure map, you got to watch out for dragons.
You're absolutely right. There's always competition. AMD is right there behind them. And they're offering some pretty good alternatives. And then there's the wild card. What happens if NVIDIA's own customers, those tech giants we talked about, what if they decide to just build their own chips so they don't have to rely on NVIDIA?
That's a good point, especially since those companies definitely have the money to do it. Plus, there's the whole thing about products becoming commodities. The more companies jump into the market, the more likely the price of GPUs is going to drop.
Yeah.
And that would hurt NVIDIA's profits.
Exactly. This deal with xAI is a huge win for NVIDIA right now, no doubt. But it doesn't mean they'll be on top forever. The tech world changes fast. If they want to stay on top, they have to be as adaptable and forward-thinking as the AI they're building.
So what does all this mean for our listeners, who probably aren't building a Colossus supercomputer in their basement?
Yeah.
I think this deal is like a giant neon sign pointing to the future of AI. It's a future where demand for AI hardware is going through the roof. NVIDIA's got the keys to the kingdom, at least for now. But like we said, the tech world is full of surprises. The question is, who's going to be holding those keys 5-10 years down the line?
Yeah, and maybe even more importantly, what happens if all those keys end up with just one company? That's something we can dig into as we look at what this deal means for the AI industry overall.
Before we do that, let's take a step back. GPUs weren't always meant for AI, were they?
Nope. They were all about making better graphics, mostly for video games. They were amazing at processing visual information and creating those incredibly realistic virtual worlds you see on screen.
So how did we go from, making explosions look real in Call of Duty to powering the next generation of AI?
It's actually a pretty interesting story. It's kind of like an unintended consequence. As GPUs got better and better at handling all that visual data, researchers started to realize that they were also really good at the kind of number crunching that machine learning needs. It was a total game changer, literally. The gaming industry's desire for better graphics accidentally helped create the hardware we need for powerful AI.
It's like the butterfly effect of the tech world. Some gamer in the 90s wanting more pixels on their screen somehow led to supercomputers that can write poetry and compose music.
It just goes to show that innovation can come from anywhere. And now, with deals like this one between xAI and Nvidia, it's clear that the next chapter of AI is going to be written in the language of GPUs.
And that brings us back to a really important question. Is relying on one company, on one type of technology, is that really the best way forward? Or are we putting all our eggs in one basket?
That's the big question, isn't it? Or maybe I should say the trillion-dollar question. And it's definitely one we'll keep unpacking as we go deeper down this AI rabbit hole.
So stick with us as we explore the potential risks and the incredible possibilities of this new world of AI. A world where the power of supercomputers is getting more and more concentrated in the hands of just a few companies.
You know, the more we look into this deal, the more it feels like we're running into this classic tech problem. On one hand, you've got this crazy innovation machine, these powerful GPUs pushing the whole AI revolution forward. But on the other hand, there's this shadow of all that power being in one place.
You're talking about Nvidia maybe becoming the only way to get into AI.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine if pretty much all AI development depended on chips from just one company. That's a ton of power for one company to have. What if they just decide one day to make their prices skyrocket? Or even worse, what if they start limiting who can buy their best GPUs? Smaller companies, researchers, everyone would be stuck trying to catch up. They could miss out on big discoveries.
It'd be like trying to compete in a space race with a horse and buggy.
That's actually a great analogy. And it's not even just about fairness. This kind of power in one place could really slow down innovation for the whole field. Think about it. If all AI development has to go through one company...
Where you're saying it could create a bottleneck, basically.
Yeah.
Slowing down progress for everyone.
Exactly. It's like having one toll booth on the highway to the future of AI. Doesn't matter how fast your car is, you're still stuck waiting in line.
So what can we do about it? Are we just crossing our fingers and hoping Nvidia plays nice? Or is there something more we can do?
Hoping isn't really a plan, especially in the tech world. We need more competition in the GPU space. More companies making GPUs means more choices, more innovation, and less reliance on one company to decide how fast everything moves.
And that's where companies like AMD come in, right? They've been making some big moves lately. If they can really step up and offer a real alternative to Nvidia, it would make things a lot fairer.
For sure. Having a strong competitor would push Nvidia to work harder and innovate faster. It would also give developers and other companies more freedom to choose the best tools for what they're doing. That would help AI evolve in new and exciting ways.
But what if it's not just about keeping up with Nvidia? What if we need to rethink the whole idea of AI hardware?
Now that's where things get really interesting. What if, instead of relying on one kind of chip, we start looking at completely new designs, like quantum computing or neuromorphic chips? Those are technologies that could blow past the limits of what GPUs can do. They could open up a whole new world of possibilities for AI.
It's like discovering a whole new continent in the AI world.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important for us to invest in research and development in these areas. The future of AI shouldn't be tied to one company or one type of technology. We need to explore everything, push the boundaries, and see what we can do.
But even with all this talk about competition and innovation, there's this underlying tension. You know, we're putting a lot of trust in these technologies and these companies to build our future.
It is a double-edged sword, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're right on the edge of this incredible AI revolution, but we also have to remember the potential problems. We can't just assume that progress will automatically make the world a better place. We have to actively shape that future and make sure AI is used to benefit everyone.
So what does that look like? How do we make sure this technology is used for good? Do we need more rules, more ethical guidelines?
It's not an easy answer. It takes a group effort from governments, researchers, tech companies, even regular people using these technologies. We need open and honest discussions about the ethics of AI, and we need to turn those discussions into real actions.
So for everyone listening, think about this. What role do you want to play in shaping this AI-powered future? It's easy to feel overwhelmed to think it's all up to the big tech companies, but the choices we make, the questions we ask, the way we use these technologies, it all matters.
It's kind of like sailing into uncharted waters. We don't have all the answers yet, but that's part of what makes this so exciting. We're all explorers in this new world, and it's our responsibility to find a path that works for everyone.
Let's change gears for a minute and talk about the financial side of this deal.
Yeah.
For Nvidia, this is obviously a big win. But what does it mean for investors? Is this a sure thing? Are they all going to get rich?
Well, it definitely looks good in the short term. Their stock price has already gone up since the news came out. And with the AI market about to explode, their profits are probably going to go through the roof. But like we talked about before, there are some risks too.
You're talking about the competition and the possibility of customers building their own chips?
Exactly. If Nvidia makes a mistake, if they lose their dominance, investors could lose a lot of money. It's a risky game. And anyone thinking about investing in Nvidia needs to be careful.
What about xAI? They're a private company, so there's no stock to buy. But what does this deal tell us about what they're trying to do?
It shows they're serious about going up against the big names in AI. They're not holding back. They're putting a lot of money into the best hardware out there to speed up their research and development. It's a bold move, especially going up against giants like Google and Microsoft. Those companies have way more money and experience.
It's like David going up against Goliath with a billion-dollar slingshot.
Yeah, something like that. It's going to be really interesting to see how this turns out. If xAI can use this new hardware to make some big breakthroughs, they could become a major player. But it's a big risk. If they don't succeed, this investment could really hurt them.
It's a good reminder that even in the world of cutting-edge tech, success isn't guaranteed. It takes more than just having the best tools. It takes vision, talent, and even a little bit of luck to survive in this fast-changing world.
Definitely. And you have to be aware of the bigger picture. This deal between xAI and Nvidia isn't just a business deal. It's a glimpse into what's shaping the future of AI. The concentration of power, the intense competition, and the ethical questions we can't afford to ignore.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, here's something to think about. What if this deal, this one event, is actually a sign of what's to come? What if the future of AI really does end up in the hands of just a few powerful companies?
It's something to think about, isn't it? And it brings up some really important questions about how we manage this incredible technology, who controls it, and how do we make sure it benefits everyone, not just a select few. That's something we'll explore more as we move into the final part of our deep dive.
Yeah, that idea of all the power ending up in just a few hands, it's a little scary.
I get it. It's a real concern and something we should definitely be thinking about. But it doesn't have to be that way, you know? Remember, the tech world changes all the time. What seems like a sure thing today could be totally different tomorrow.
So you're saying there's still a chance for a more diverse AI landscape, one where things aren't so concentrated?
Definitely. The key is to stay ahead of the game, to be ready for those changes and adapt. That means investing in new technologies, creating a culture where innovation is encouraged, and making it easier for more players to get involved in the AI world.
So if we take a step back and look at the big picture, what are the biggest things we learned from our deep dive into this xAI and Nvidia deal?
Well, I think the first thing is it shows us that AI isn't just some niche technology anymore. It's quickly becoming a fundamental part of our whole tech world. And companies like Nvidia are in a prime position to benefit from that.
But like they say, with great power comes great responsibility.
Exactly. And that's the second big takeaway. We need to be very careful about how we develop and use AI. We can't just let it run wild. We need to make sure it matches our values, that it benefits everyone, not just a few, and that it doesn't make existing problems worse.
This whole deal also shows us how complicated people like Elon Musk are when it comes to AI. He's worried about the potential dangers, but he's also putting a ton of money into AI technology.
It is interesting, isn't it? Maybe he thinks the best way to influence AI is to be right there in the middle of it, pushing for responsible development from the inside. Or maybe he just knows AI is too powerful to ignore, so he's covering all his bases. Whatever his reasons are, Musk's actions remind us that the future of AI isn't just decided by big companies. Individual people with big ideas have a role to play too.
And lastly, this deal really shows us how important it is to stay informed and involved. The world of AI is changing fast, and the decisions we make today will have a big impact on the future.
It's a wake-up call for everyone. We need to understand the potential benefits and risks of AI. We need to have serious conversations about the ethical side of things, and we need to demand that AI is developed in a way that's fair, transparent, and accountable.
So for all of you listening out there, remember this. The future of AI isn't set in stone. It's being created right now by the choices we make, the conversations we have, and the actions we take. So stay informed, stay involved, and help us build an AI future that works for all of us.